want to educate, encourage, enable the power. We stand for integrity, honesty, self-reliance, self-defense, and most importantly, no compromise on our foundational principles. This is America's Voice Now.
Find America's Voice Now on Facebook and at americasvoicenow.org. Here's Michael Evans.
Good morning, America. My name is Michael Evans, and you're listening to America's Voice Now. You know, it's telling that the current regime is attempting to shove immigration down our throat. Chuck Schumer, traitor, senator, betrayer of all oaths, says that illegal immigration will be a thing of the past. This gang of 8, by the way, I abhor that term, and I abhor those men. Because, first of all, we're not represented by 8. And they are a gang. Unfortunately, it's not 8, it's 535. 435 members of the House and 100 members of the Senate. Probably another 100 members of the administration. And what they're saying and what they're doing is completely unacceptable. They're stating that amnesty first, border security second. Wrong answer. Why? Because we've been down this road before. We've been here before. And what it resulted in was, I don't know, some 8 million illegals who got a citizenship, amnesty, and now we're right back where we started. Yes, the promises were made the border would be taken care of. It wasn't. Yes, the promises were made that it wouldn't happen again. It has. See, what you have is a group of 535, let's say 530, because there's got to be 5 good ones in there. I mean, Cruz, Rand Paul, there's a couple of people that are out there fighting for us. But for the vast majority of these people, treason is a way of life. Betrayal, violation of their oaths. Schumer actually has the gall to come out and say, we don't have a problem where these people, meaning illegal immigrants, are besieging us with terrorist acts. I mean, how pathetic and how shameful. Yes, we do. In fact, the proof of that pudding is that one of the 2 Boston bombers was let back in here after his visa expired. That is an illegal immigration. So Chuck Schumer is a liar. On top of an ideologue. On top of a traitor. Personally, I'm tired of the security issue being pushed off and pushed off and pushed off. I'm tired of the liars in Congress standing out there and telling the American people that they know best. Because their motives are not true. Their motives are not legitimate. Their motives are not the representation of the American people. Their motives are their party and whatever ideology they happen to carry at that moment. Some of them don't even appear to carry an ideological slant. They just bend whatever way the wind goes and whoever's bribing them the most money. I mean, take John McCain for an example. He'll stand there and in one sentence make one statement and turn around and with another sentence make another statement. Then the two contradict each other. He's a war hawk. Here's the problem, folks. We're out of time to continue to play these little games and, we'll just take it to court and we'll fight it that way. We can't take it to court. The courts are ruled by the administration and by the political ideology and power at any time. It's not just Obama. This is not limited to an Obama issue. The courts are always under the ideological stress of whomever is in power. They're beholden to those administrations for their livelihood, their welfare, their role, their job, even the Supreme Court. And the federal courts operate under this nonsense of precedent instead of taking each individual case and looking at it on its own constitutional basis and grounds. Well, precedent says, but the precedent was an unconstitutional or extra-constitutional decision in the first place, the one that you're referring to from 1940 that shouldn't have ever happened. So all you're doing is compounding some unconstitutional decision with another one. How ridiculous. Is the Constitution the rule of law in this country, or is it just some vague suggestion of law? Does a stoplight mean stop, or is it merely a suggestion? Does the red light mean stop, or is it a suggestion? It's really shameful that what we live in today is a nation where this group of legislators, for the vast majority of it, has really abused every aspect of their oath to support and defend the Constitution of the United States, because they have no intention of supporting the Constitution. What they're supporting is whatever is most convenient and most beneficial to their own personal situation, whether that's their career or their wallet or their friends in power or their cronies or whatever else, And yesterday I talked about Snowden and the fact that with this kind of access, 1,400 non-governmental employees, all contractors, have the equivalent access that Snowden had. That's not my statement. That's something out of The Guardian. All right, so let's just take that for a moment and tell me that out of those 1,400, not one of them has ever gone to a senator, or not one of them has ever leaked or released information to someone else who went to a senator or a congressman or a House member or a policymaker in the Department of State or an ambassador or a governor or an attorney general, and plied that information to drive them to do something different than their intention. Come on, I don't buy it. If you think that this is all squeaky clean over there in Washington and over in your state house governments, that's on you to be so naive. But that's not the way it works. And they don't actually have to stand right there and tell him over a scotch, if you do this, I'm going to release this photo. All they have to do is make him aware of the photo, and he does whatever he's told. Come on. You see, the problem is that any time government has this kind of information, this kind of access, and then you have the ideological group or gang, and this is what this is. This is thuggery in government. It's nothing more than that. And I'm incensed about it. And you should be too. Why has Nixon not signed off on the 3 primary bills or 4 primary bills sitting in front of him? Why do we have to wait until sometime into July for him to sign off on the Second Amendment Preservation Act? Why? It's inexcusable. Well, we might have to let the time run out on it. The time shouldn't be running out on anything. He should have signed it the day that it was passed. You know why? Because it's the will of the people. It's not his job to sit there and say, well, I get you the concerns of 70% of Missouri, but I'm going to defy them anyway because it's against my own personal belief. Or it's against the bribery that I've been given, or whatever the heck it is. You see, that's the problem, people. You've got people standing in the way, being a bottleneck to the will of the people. Don't tell me that the will of the people is to pass immigration reform and allow 25 million new immigrants. And the number's really probably closer to 50. We'll never really know what it is. But I can tell you, whatever they tell you it is, double it. We're going to take a break. We'll be back in a moment.
Most of us will agree that a toothbrush and toothpaste are very low-cost items when compared to major dental repair work. We just know that it's much less painful to maintain with good dental hygiene and checkups than let things go and see what happens. The same is true with vehicle maintenance. Following recommended fluid maintenance schedules and replacing filters before a problem develops is much more cost-efficient than dealing with a transmission or engine breakdown. Stop by or call Don's Auto Service to schedule the services recommended for your vehicle, 1618 Porter Wagner Boulevard, or 417-256-2752. If you're looking for great deals on iPads or Kindles, look no further than your neighborhood Radio Shack authorized sales center. They've got great deals on the latest iPads and Kindles. Maybe you need a new GPS or an MP3 player to get your music library ready for those barbecues. Whatever your electronic needs, stop by your local neighborhood Radio Shack authorized dealer in West Plains at 1408 Southern Hills Shopping Center or call 417-256-1819.
All right. There's a new website out there I want you to be familiar with. It's called No Way Blue Way Mo-Arc. This is a website which is designed to educate everybody about this Blueways thing and fight it. This is another example of where you can take some grassroots effort, and yes, you, just little old you, can make an actual difference. It takes effect July 6th if we don't stop it. It's an $18 million. Their goal is to spend $18 million buying up land starting July 6th. And in addition to that, their goal is to, by eminent domain, steal land that they can't buy. 18 million acres in Missouri and Arkansas. If you're not familiar with it, I don't know what rock you're living under, but this is a federal land grab, and they want to control the land from source to sea on the river and the watershed that's in between it. It's called the White River Watershed. It's called, you just type in nowayblueway.mo-arc, or go on our Facebook page where we've got a direct link to it. Now, in addition to that, the county commissioners' meetings are going to be deluged with interested and angry and focused folks. Here's what's going to happen. There's going to be a presentation for the Howell County Commissioners Group on Friday at 10:30 a.m. I'm sorry, on Thursday at 10:30 a.m. in Howell County. And in Oregon County, there's going to be one at 10:30 a.m. in the courthouse in Alton. We're asking each of you in your respective counties, of course, to make sure that you attend that. It's Thursday at 10:30 at Howell County in the Annex Building. That's the one that used to be the old Bank of America on the square in West Plains. It's the seat for the House of Representatives, and it's all the county commissioners' offices and the election board and all that. So it's at 10:30 on Thursday, and we're asking you to be there, because we want them to have an understanding of exactly how incensed we as citizens are about this. We want them to hear our voices. Strident, polite, but strident. We want to make it very, very clear that these commissioners have to sign a resolution that says, this is an act which we will not stand for. County commissioners, counties themselves, and this state have the ownership and the rule over waterways, not the federal government, nor any non-governmental organization like the Sierra Club or some other group, the Conservancy, the Wildlife Conservancy Group, and all of these other nonsense groups. Enough's enough of that stuff. They don't live here, and we're not going to let them take over our land and dictate the rules of what we can grow on it, where we can use it, how we can use it. First of all, for the record, one of the first rules that goes into effect is that you have to put a 180 foot buffer around any water source. Yes, any water source, not a running river. This is your pond. This is a spring on your property. This is a creek. This is a dry creek. Doesn't even have to be a wet weather creek. Because as soon as it rains, it's wet, and suddenly now it's a water source, and it's in the watershed. So all of that has to be fenced off and protected from access by animals and protected from access by fertilizers and what have you. Folks, I mean, look, I saw a thing from McCaskill's office saying, oh, this doesn't create any new regulations. That's a bald-faced lie. The one in Connecticut is less than a year old, and already it's resulted in an engendering of over 900 or almost 900 pages of regulations. 863 is the last number I've seen. 863 pages of brand new regulations and rules. No, they're not new laws. I get it. See, that's the game they play. Well, this isn't all about creating new law. No, it's not. It's about creating rules. Rules that parade about as law. Rules that carry the full force and weight of law. Regulations that carry the weight of law, but not the word. I mean, you can call it whatever you want, but this is all about Bill Clinton was the expert at this, and he really taught the progressives well. It's all about the definition. And so they carefully choose their words to make it sound as if they're not doing something that we would all get upset and up in arms about. Well, this isn't going to create any new laws. Hey, but what they don't know is it's going to be chock full of regulations and new rules, and we get to prosecute under those rules because we do it as an administrative agency, and on top of that, they get no jury trial. Well, there's no jury trial for an administrative agency hearing. If you think those Snickers aren't happening in the back rooms of the Nature Conservancy and the National Park Service and the National Fish and Wildlife, you're a fool. You're either going to show up and help us and you're going to stand with us or you're against us. That's the new mantra, folks. You're either for us or you're against us. There is no gray, and I'm tired of hearing there is. I'm tired of mamby-pamby, milquetoast crap being funneled down to us saying, well, there's always gray. You always have to make exceptions. There's an exception to every rule. No, there is constitutionality, and there is not. And it's not open to interpretation by any administrative law judge, by any ruling, by any regulation, by any Supreme Court judge, by any federal judge, by any county judge. You're either with the rule of law or you're against it. And it's time America stopped pretending that there is compromise on everything. We don't live in a world of compromise. They don't compromise. They're brutally oppressive against you. And they're not compromising in that in any way, shape, or form. Why would you think it's wrong for them to not compromise, but it's wrong for you to be unwilling to compromise? Where do you draw your line in the sand? I mean, if the bully keeps taking your lunch money, what are you going to do? You're going to fight back someday, or are you just going to continue to just bring double your lunch money so you can hand him half? I mean, really. And then suddenly he finds out you're carrying double the lunch money, so now he wants all of it. Then you start carrying 3 times the lunch money, and you hide it in your shoe. Then he takes double your lunch money and slaps you around, and while he's slapping you around, your shoe falls off and out falls the change. Suddenly he knows you're carrying triple the money. I mean, how many times are you going to let this go on? That's what this is about. And just like the bully, they never give back. You see, it's always whatever is now taken is now the new status. Well, yesterday you brought me double the lunch money. Today you're going to bring me double the lunch money. Tomorrow you're going to bring me triple the lunch money. I don't have it. All right? Then double the lunch money until you do. But that's the new normal. Get it? That's the new status. You see, these people just don't give up. And every forward advancement they make, they never give that ground back. What they do is they may back off the policy for a little while when people get incensed. But you see, the policy never goes away. And proof of that is we have a document, which you've probably seen by now if you're paying any attention to the Blueways at all, where the Western Caucus from the House of Representatives sent a letter to Salazar saying, we told you not to do this, and you're doing it anyway. And you were subverting Congress in your drive to achieve this Blueway. Now, they told him not to do it, and he did it anyway. Congress gave him the order to withdraw his order, and he refused to do it. So you see, they never give the ground back. Every forward advancement becomes their permanent advancement. They never retreat. And every town and every city they take, every piece of land they take becomes a permanent, established piece of real estate that you do not have. Whether that's political real estate, whether that's liberty real estate, freedom real estate, ideological real estate. That's the problem. So it's not enough that we can get them to stop this. What we need to get done is we need a measure in the House and in the Senate that says that the Blueways project is removed and repealed. First of all, I don't care who Secretary Salazar thinks he is. He has no right to issue executive orders for anything. He doesn't have that delegated authority. Not by we the people. He may have it by some corrupt and compromised scumbag in Washington, but he doesn't have it by me, and he doesn't have it by you. And we are the final arbiters of truth, justice, freedom, and liberty. That's the reality, people. We are the final arbiters. Not a court, not the Senate, not the House, not your state, not your state house, not your state assembly, not your state legislature, not the DNR. We are the final arbiters of liberty and freedom. And that's where Americans are going to have to take a stand to say, we're not putting up with this anymore. But I'm only one person. What can I do? Well, on Thursday at 10:30 a.m., those of you who are in Howell County can show up at the Annex building next to the courthouse in West Plains. And you can make those county commissioners know that today you're taking a stand and you're drawing a line in the sand, and it is not a line you will back up from. You know why? There's no place to go, folks. Your back is already up against a brick wall. And on Friday at 10:30 a.m., you can show up in Oregon County at the courthouse in Alton. Please attend both meetings. I don't even care if you don't live in that county. See, the issue here is that these county commissioners have to get such a strong and resounding message that they fear to not sign the resolution. They must fear not signing it. You want to put a fence around 180 feet back from all water sources on your property? People, that is just suicide. Their goal is to destroy the agricultural economic viability of this area. Because with the destruction of the agricultural economy, basically, it will vacate itself. Once the farmers move out, folks, there's no reason for anybody else to be here. All the people who run the shops and the businesses and the banks and the stores and the small industries, they're gone because there's no workers and there's no money to be spent in any of those shops and businesses and places of business. How long do you think a Ford dealer is going to stay in business when there's no farmers to buy the trucks? I mean, who do you think is buying all these $50,000 and $70,000 diesel dualies? Bunch of kids so that they can cruise around town? I don't think so. Who do you think keeps the feed locations open? I mean, look, what you have to recognize is that this is all intertwined into the economy. And once the agricultural economy is dead, the Ozarks economy is dead. And when the Ozarks economy is dead, everybody will vacate on their own. So it is critically important that we are participating in this and standing up to protect ourselves. These county commissioner meetings are critical to the success of this project. When we come back, we're going to cover more on this Operation Troll. I want to talk to you a little bit about it. We'll be back in just a moment. Stick with us for the next segment.
Fox News Radio. I'm Chris Foster. A man accused of holding 3 women captive in his home for a decade is arraigned in Cleveland.
I will enter a not guilty plea on behalf of your client at this time.
Ariel Castro is facing more than 300 charges, kidnapping, rape, and murder through forced miscarriage. As many as 60 homes have burned northeast of Colorado Springs. More than 6,000 people forced to leave their neighborhoods.
Finally, I persuaded them to let me go in and get our dogs.
They were evacuating people down from there, just trails of vehicles coming down the hill.
The Black Forest Fire, the largest of at least 4 fires burning in Colorado. A state prison is evacuated. The San Antonio Spurs take a 2-1 lead in the NBA Finals, beating Miami 113-77. Danny Green, 27 points.
My teammates done a great job of finding me and encouraging me to shoot every time, when I'm open.
He hit 7 of the Spurs' 16 three-pointers. That's a finals record. Fox News, we report, you decide.
Thanks to Jason over at Wits End Classic Barbershop for sponsoring our phone lines. You can call our Wits End Classic Barbershop hotline, and you can get over there and get yourself a shave and a haircut. 2 bits. Well, a little bit more than 2 bits. Thanks to our friends over at Pizza Hut as well. On Porter Wagoner Boulevard, they have an outstanding lunch special. And on Tuesday nights, they have Kids Eat Free. Children under 12 eat for free. They're on Porter Wagoner Boulevard in West Plains. Make sure you visit Pizza Hut. Our friends at the Battery Station, 303 Washington Avenue at batterystation.com. You can also reach them via telephone at 257-7799. Folks over at West Plains Pawn and Gun. Kenny's a friend of ours and a great supporter of our program. 417-256-3000, located about a mile and a half on Route 160 past Walmart. You can reach him also on the web at westplainspawn.com. Ozark Mountain Self-Reliance, half-mile east of Walmart at Route 62 in Mountain Home. You can find them on the web at ozarkmtnselfreliance.com. And you can call them at 870-492-4030. My friend Mary over at Chantilly's Artisan Bakery, the best damn bakery in 100 miles. She can be reached at 417-255-2253. You can also find her at number 2 Evans Arcade. Outstanding bakery. Bill Stone over at Stone Construction at 2930116. Whether remodeling, building new, or doing some kind of custom construction, light commercial or farm work, Bill's the guy for you. 2930116.
At Missouri State University West Plains, students are finding new beginnings and endless possibilities.
Hi, I am Lacey Mill, and I am a graduate of Missouri State West Plains. The faculty and staff at the West Plains campus go above and beyond what is required to help students. They were the key to my success.
Call Missouri State West Plains today to find out how we can help you achieve your educational goals. Registration is going on now, 255-7255. Or check us out on the web, wp.missouristate.edu.
Weather sponsorships are now available on News Talk 107.1 The Point. Get more information, email info@diamondmediaradio.com for complete details.
From the Point Weather Center, for this morning, a clear sky. It'll be sunny and hot through the day. The high temperature 94, partly cloudy tonight, low 72. Tomorrow's going to be a sunny day, high 86. Mainly clear tomorrow night, low 64. Sunshine for Friday, high 84. I'm staff meteorologist Jim Minaldi, and for more information, visit my1071thepoint.com.
Coast to Coast AM brings the Ozarks a whole new feel for radio. Midnight to 6 a.m. every night here on the Ozarks Best News Talk 107.1 The Point. Where else would you get callers talking about everything from UFOs to war trends, from mental energy to anomalies, and from lost knowledge to aliens? Listen to experts and researchers who are part of the guest list every night here on the Ozarks Best News Talk. Don't miss Coast to Coast AM with George Norrie. Midnight to 6 a.m. every night here on the Ozarks Best News Talk 107.1 The Point.
Make sure that you contact our friends down at Ozark Mountain Self-Reliance at 870-492-4030. They are an outstanding enterprise group that's right down in Mountain Home, and they service not only the nation, with mailing and so forth, but also our local area. Please make sure that you support those folks. It's Ozark Mountain Self-Reliance, and you can find them at ozarkmtnselfreliance.com. By the way, my company is building a brand new website for them, which we expect to have on sometime, I think, either later this week or by the end of the week. And that'll give you an opportunity. When we light it up, I'll ask you folks to go on there and help them out by purchasing some products and putting it through its paces. So please make sure that you support those folks. Also, our friends over at Pizza Hut on Porter Wagoner, they have an outstanding lunch special, which I would really like for you to participate in. And every Tuesday, it is families or kids eat free night for families, and they have a great buffet every day. So you can get in there and have pizza, but they have a wonderful salad bar that you can take advantage of. And make sure that you see our friend Mary over at Chantilly's Artisan Bakery. She is the best damn bakery within 100 miles of this area, and you will not be disappointed, I promise you that. She can be found at number 2 Evans Arcade, and her phone number is 255-2253. Also, make sure that you give Jason over at Wits End Classic Barbershop an opportunity to cut your hair, because he does mine, and he does an excellent job, and he's also the sponsor of our phone lines. So if you'd like to give a call in here and talk to us about some of the things that we're touching on today, feel free to do so. The hotline for Wits End Classic Barbershop hotline is 417-257-1111. And or if you're out there in the hinterlands and you are outside of our local calling area, you may call us at 866-554-6636, toll free. Go ahead, caller. Welcome to the show.
Yes, Michael. I understand that good government is not always convenient, but who schedules meetings at 10:30 in the morning?
I don't know. And
it looks like it's deliberately set up to avoid being, most of us work 8 to 4, 9 to 5.
Yeah.
It looks like it's deliberately set up to preclude.
Well, I think that's their normal meeting window, and I can't say that, I'll be honest with you. I questioned it myself, and I don't know whether there's some logic to that or some meaning to that or what, but it is what it is. I mean, that's the date we've got, and where time is too short for us to try to reschedule some different alternative date.
But I try to make these meetings, but we should be trying to bring enough pressure to move it to the evening so people can get there to make their statement.
I don't disagree with you.
And I'll quit whining. It sounds like whining, I know, but gee.
No, it's not. I mean, you're actually correct. It's inexcusable to have these things on at 10:30 in the morning when everybody's working. So, maybe that's something that we need to talk to them about and take up with them. But right now I'm more focused actually on just getting this thing beaten down, because we've only got until July 6th, folks. We're less than a month away. So
that's just it. If you can't get enough people there to make a show of force, my God.
Well, and that's probably a good point for us to bring out to them, is that the showing would have been double or triple what it is, whatever it is on.
And I know you don't control the scheduling, sir. I'm well aware of that.
Sure.
I'm not complaining you personally.
No, I get you. I get you.
All right.
Hey, thanks, brother. I appreciate you. Go ahead, caller. Welcome to the show.
Yeah, just a curve. Last night I was at the city council meeting.
Hey, this is Susan, and it was your birthday a couple days ago, so I just want to wish you a belated happy birthday and have all of our listeners wish you a silent and an individual happy birthday to you, because you are a staunch and fearless fighter for us, and I am appreciative of who you are and what you do.
Well, I just hope I make it another year.
Well, I mean, you know what? You are doing an outstanding job, and I really praise your activism, because you're just out there fighting the good fight every day. And if we had 1 million of you, we could take the world.
Thank you. I went to the city council meeting last night, and I presented the same things you just presented about the Blueway.
Yeah.
And one person kind of chuckled and said, "They can't do it without our food. What are you talking about?" And I think that people, and I said, well.
What an idiot. That shows you what you got in city council, folks.
No, this was not the city council. This was a member of the crowd.
Oh.
And there were quite a few there. But what I said was, that's their point. Starvation is the end result, and they have places currently being built for you in St. Louis at 150 square feet per person.
How did the council members take it?
No reaction.
None.
No.
No questions?
Nobody asks questions.
There's your city council for you, folks. I reiterate my statement.
there were probably 40 people there, and they did listen this time. I had my pizza boxes with words on them. I don't know how often I recycle these pizza boxes.
Guys, just for the record, she actually takes pizza boxes and she makes signs at them and posts then her message on the sign and uses them as props to talk to people. I'll tell you what, I'd actually like to have a seminar held where you're the one who shows people what to do, because I'm telling you, folks, if all of you did what Susan is doing, we wouldn't have to worry about most of this stuff that's going on, because the response would be immediate and aggressive. And I cannot reiterate or express enough how important and how effective you are. You may not feel like you're effective but I've had people walk up to me and say, that lady who listens to your show, and then tell me about something that you've done or said in their group or that they've heard about. So mark my words, you are effective, and in more ways than you know.
One more for me.
Okay.
In my messy handwritten...
Who am I to get in the way of your soapbox, girl? Why don't you just come on here and do this show with me?
One of my messy handwritten messages I sent to the Missouri State Board of Education. They meet next week.
Yeah.
And I told them what I thought of them.
Okay.
And I will be surprised if I get an answer, but never mind.
Well, listen, I mean, this Common Core thing that you've latched onto and you're fighting and I'm 100% in agreement with you. Every parent out there should be willing to work as hard as you are, because I don't want to tell your age, but you don't have little kids anymore. It was just your birthday the other day and you told me, so.
No, I'm overage.
But I'm not going to reveal.
No, I don't even care.
You're 39 again.
Again and again and again.
But the simple reality is you don't have kids in a school system anymore.
Well, I have grandchildren.
No, I understand that. But, your kids, you have grandchildren in a school system, but not your own. But how many parents who do have kids in the school system are sitting down there on the couch shoveling potato chips in their mouth instead of actually doing something, which you've taken you've taken the torch and you're carrying it.
Well,
and I applaud you for that. So
it's because I listen to you.
Well, I'm not taking any credit for who you are, girl.
Thanks, Mike.
So, hey, I thank you very much for all the effort and the work that you put in. And I know you spend an enormous amount of time on it. And I know you buck the system and people say, you're crazy for what you're doing. But you know what? Tinfoil hats are becoming more in vogue every day. Yeah. All these people who used to accuse us of wearing tinfoil hats are now turning around saying, hey, where do I buy one of those? Because apparently I believe too.
Yeah. I hope it catches on.
Thank you, dear.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Okay. Happy birthday again.
Thank you.
Okay. Go ahead, caller. Welcome to the show.
Good morning, Mike. I just wanted to bring up to your attention, I've been passing the word out beyond your terrestrial radio listening area and to other parties along the Blueway, this Blueway project issue.
Yeah.
And a very good patriot out there created a meetup.
I talked about that this morning. It's called No Way Blueway Mo-Ark. And folks, you can get to it by going to meetup.com and then type in No Way Blueway Mo-Ark. So and that's why it's hard to give out that kind of a website, but I put links up on our website and I put links up on our Facebook page for it. It's meetup.com/No Way Blueway Mo-Ark. And it's basically this is a place for people to gather and collectively work together to try to defend and defeat this Blueways. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Right, and once you join, you can people can upload files to the website, and also you can put items on the calendar for your local area. So it's like a central meeting area on the internet that everybody can access in their own time, and along with your website, which is fantastic. But this is a way to coordinate this issue, and this person who created this, our friend named Tom, he's committed to 6 months of this, and so even beyond this issue, which hopefully we will defeat this, he's created this space for us to work on other issues in the future as well. So it's it's a really good way, and more people are joining, and it's a way to activate people and keep them informed on their own time, where they don't always have to try to call and reach out to everybody. So,
sure.
Anyway,
well, outstanding, and this is a brand new page, folks. There's only a handful of members on it, but let's make sure that we're using this as a central way to keep our to not only share what we have in knowledge and wisdom, but also how we can get together and work together collectively as a group. Thanks so much, Mark. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
Have a great day. Folks, we're going to take a quick break, and when we return, I'm going to give you some motivation to pick up the phone and call our governor, your state legislators on Blueways, and feds on immigration. We're going to be back in just a moment. You're listening to America's Voice Now.
The Battery Station in West Plains is your headquarters for getting and being prepared. Natural disasters, civil unrest, personal and family protection, long-term sustenance, and most importantly, peace of mind. Berkey bottles and home-sized water purification systems, survival food, MREs, freeze-dried food, survival knives, lanterns, ammunition, military sleep system, and of course, batteries of all shapes and sizes. Take charge of your own survival and security. The Battery Station, 303 Washington in West Plains, 417-257-7799 or batterystation.com.
Movies from 1999.
It moves like it has a mind. Like it knows it killed the world once. It got a taste for murder.
Can you name that movie?
That is Deep Blue Sea.
Robin Willis Springs. Do you have a belt right now? I mean, you should be putting notches in your belt for everyone you win.
I'll have to think about doing that, yeah. Pretty good.
All right. Hey, Rob, we appreciate your call this morning.
All right, thanks a lot.
Join Cooper and Company weekday morning 6 to 8 a.m. here on the Ozarks Best News Talk, 107.1 The Point.
I saw a penguin fly out of a U.S. Cellular store with a new Samsung Galaxy smartphone. Sounds crazy, but U.S. Cellular's offering $100 off a new Samsung Galaxy phone. If that's crazy, I'm a loon.
Switch to U.S. Cellular and say hello to the Galaxy S4 for only $99.99 or the Samsung Galaxy S3 for free. U.S. Cellular. Hello better. After $100 mail-in rebate that comes as a MasterCard debit card, applicable data plan required. New 2-year agreement and $35 device activation fee may apply. Certain restrictions apply. See store for details.
Hi, it's Hugh Hewitt on the next Hugh Hewitt Show. I am back from Boston. I bring you word of what happens to liberals 35 years after they graduate from the Kremlin on the Charles. I caught up with all those people who spend all their time trying to run your lives better than you know you can run it yourself. I'll give you the debrief on the next Hugh Hewitt Show.
Sundays from 6 till 7, following Money Talk with Bob Brinker, is the Weekend Journal with Hugh Hewitt on the Ozarks Best News Talk 107.1.
Okay, quick note here for those who are looking to get into a concealed carry class before the end of the month. Greg McLaughlin over there at Black Ops School of Combat has that new class scheduled for the 29th. That's the tail end of this month. 8 a.m., 8-hour program, $75 per person. It's 8 hours in length total. You have to shoot both a semi-auto and a revolver, and according to state law. The web address for him and where you can learn more about his program, his school, and his training programs is blackopsschoolofcombat.com. That's Black Ops, O-P-S, schoolofcombat.com. Owner there is Greg McLaughlin. He is, by the way, the developer of the world's fastest technique to clear a double feed malfunction. And I've seen this technique in use. I've seen him do it, and I'll tell you what, it is absolutely startling how fast it works. And so please make sure that you ask him to work with you on that as well, because that is that's called the death jam in pistolcraft. When you have a double feed malfunction like that, your gun is permanently jammed. And normally to clear that used to take 5 to 10 seconds. He can do it in less than a second and a half. I mean, we're talking about a sea change in the world of pistolcraft. And he's the inventor of this, or the developer of this technique. And I'll tell you what, I think you'll see, if you're a pistolcraft person or pistolsmith, you'll see this moving through the industry shortly. He can be reached at 417-255-1612. That's 417-255-1612. And again, his website is blackopsschoolofcombat.com. I know he's been filming this technique, and he's going to be putting it out on gun sites and that kind of thing shortly. So, okay. The other thing I want to cover is right now we got to call the governor's office, and we want to send him email, and we want to more importantly call. And you want to speak to the governor's office and tell him that these bills, the 436, the Second Amendment Preservation Act, and there's about 6 bills sitting on his desk waiting for him to sign. And you need to urge him to sign these. And we need a massive phone bank call today. This is Wake Up Wednesday, right? I mean, I know the House is out of session, the Senate's out of session, but it doesn't mean that we can't take action and be the activists that we are in a grassroots format. So I want you to call the governor's office today, and there's a link up on our Facebook page for the governor's phone number, and then your state legislatures. I want you to call your legislators for your House and your Senate on this Blueways thing. We need their assistance. We're developing a second document for them to sign, which will make it clear that this Blueways thing is illegal from a state perspective, not just a grassroots and county perspective. And then, folks, it is time for you to make your calls on immigration to the federal offices. Now, Jason Smith is actually voting in Congress as we speak, because I saw votes come through the other day. I get a hotline bullet on who votes for what, and I saw that he's now voting. So he is now our 8th District representative, and that means that it is time for you to call him up and say, I put you in there, and you're going to do what we tell you to do. He's got 1 year to prove himself, folks. 1 year. If he has not shown by the tail end of this year an extraordinarily strong constitutional stand, we're going to have to take him out in the next election in 2014. So make sure that you are working together with him to encourage him to do the right thing by us and to support us properly. No more of this Joanne Emerson nonsense. He's not going to play by party rules, or he's not going to stay in there. All right? So the phone number is 202-224-3121. And if you don't have this number either memorized or written down somewhere or in your cell phone or permanently stored in your phone, you must be a brand new listener. 202-224-3121. And what we're talking about is no on the immigration bill. An absolute resounding no. No immigration until the borders are verifiably sealed and all illegals have registered. Then we can have all the conversations and discussions you want. No immigration until these borders are verifiably sealed. What does verifiably mean? Well, it doesn't mean any kind of hocus-pocus crap we get out of the DHS and Janet the Traitor Napolitano. What it means is that we see and we have the immigration officers telling us that it has gone down below a trickle. So in other words, we want the feet on the boots on the ground to come back and tell. Now, for the record, immigrations and ICE have filed a suit against the federal government for barring them from doing their jobs. So that's who I want to tell us that it's verifiably sealed. These guys who are out there putting their lives on the line every day to stop it and are being told by the federal government, you will stand down and do nothing, allow them to pour over the border. I want those guys to verifiably seal it. Verifiably. And then we have a moratorium of 6 months or whatever period is appropriate. And while that moratorium is on, we can have any discussion you want. So that border has got to be verifiably sealed first. Then we have, and during that period, we can have a 6-month moratorium on, or a 6-month period in which all illegals must register. All. I don't care if you've been here for 2 generations. I don't care if you've been here for 2 minutes. And I don't care if you've been here for 25 years. I don't care if you've been here for 74 years. You are going to register and notify us that you are here, what you're doing here, where you're living, where you're working, and then, and only then, will we have a discussion about immigration. It's time for America to stand up and say, no way, not again. Now, I get it that there's going to be, well, you can't throw Grandpa out of the country because he's been here for 40 years and he's got a family and hey, I don't care. He's here under illegal pretenses. If I rob a bank 40 years from now, are you going to say you're not going to prosecute me because it's been 40 years and I haven't robbed another one? I'm still living on the money from the bank I robbed. I mean, how unconscionable is that? Is that any different? I don't think so. If I'm a bank robber and I'm robbing banks they're still living here illegally. And anyone, by the way, who does not register during the period, during the open registration period, which should be 6 months or 12 months, whatever. I mean, I'm open to whatever, but it can't be less than 6 months and it can't be more than 12. But anyone who does not register during that period, if you're found in this nation afterwards, you are immediately forcibly ejected. I don't care how long you've been here. I don't care what kind of ties you got. I don't care how many family members are here. I don't care how many kids you've birthed here. I don't care how many churches you go to or jobs you have. You're out. If you don't let us know you exist here and you're existing here illegally, then you're out. And those who are here, we will give you an opportunity under a proper immigration system to go back to the end of the line, pay the fines, pay the taxes you should have paid all along. And if you're not willing to do that, then you can leave now. But nothing should happen until the borders are verifiably sealed. Nothing. And not a temporary seal. I mean a long-term, hardcore, permanent seal. Enough's enough, America. How long are we going to stand here for this betrayal of everything that our federal government is let me tell you, out of the 6 or 8 enumerated jobs that the federal government has, border security is one of them. That's the one thing they won't do. Of course, they have no problem stepping all over you for everything else that they're not supposed to do that they do. How crazy is that? How twisted is that? In other words, they are supposed to be standing here defending our borders. That is one of the very clear and enumerated responsibilities and duties and delegated authorities that they've been given in the Constitution. And that is the one job they will not do. How do you explain that? How do you justify that? You don't. Because you cannot defend the indefensible. So, each of you should be on the phone with your federal legislators today. Smith, Blunt, McCaskill. And you should be telling them no on immigration. Now, the Senate's already passed it, so it's over to the House now. The Gang of 8 pushed through, and so 8 people have determined what the 100 in the Senate are going to do. And these 8 claim to have authority to determine what the House is going to do, and they claim that they have the authority to represent all of America. 8 crappy, treasonous, two-bit, no-good bums, of whom Marco Rubio is one, by the way. I don't care if you like Marco Rubio. He's a slug because he had no business agreeing to this. None. This, ladies and gentlemen, is going to be the end of free elections if this immigration bill goes through. Just imagine what 25 million new voters who are all going to be voting from their pocketbook will do to this nation. I double dog dare you to just spend 3 minutes thinking about it. Then pick up the telephone and spend the next 3 minutes calling at 202-224-3121. While you're at it, I want you to mention this Blueways thing and ask the House, Jason Smith in the House, and Blunt and McCaskill why they are not standing up to defend this and defeat Blueways. We don't want it. They have an obligation to open an investigation into it, shut it down. Find us on the web at americasvoicenow.org. Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/AmericasVoiceNow. Find this and every other episode on YouTube at youtube.com/AmericasVoiceNow. We are 2 likes away on our Facebook page from 500 listeners. Please make sure that if you're one of the last 2 who haven't signed up Or we need 2 more, I should say. If you haven't yet clicked like on our Facebook page, please do. Have a great day.
West Plains, Missouri, it's KBMV Birch Tree, the Ozarks' best news talk.